Hello everybody, welcome to Shoot the Shift. No Bryn this week because he's doing a boring thing, I guess.
He's gone to Pembury.
Oh, he's gone to go sidey-sideys, hasn't he?
With
he's gone back to his home country.
The gripped up boys. So hi Dan.
Bye Dan.
Connor. And I don't know the other. I can't remember the rest of the guys, but
the rest of you aren't important enough for Milton to remember your names, apparently.
Oh, you got Sam and Ben, but I just wanted to be cool and not know everyone, but I know everyone. It's an MX-5, of course I know them.
So this week, we were going to talk about electric cars because there's talk of overturning the ban in 2030 in the UK because no one's put enough plugs in or something. So that was a bit of news.
Extension leads.
What?
Need some extension leads.
Yeah, just daisy chain them. It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Pop down to Home Bargains, grab some.
And then, over the last 2 weeks, if you've been paying attention to the violent run in TikTok, YouTube, or anything, in the land of shorts, reels, and TikToks, right? Things have been afoot. And that is, there's been a lot of paint work going on at Castle Bam. There's also been wheel and tyre buying going on, but that gets revealed later on. So, I thought we'd talk about body prep and all that kind of stuff, because it's not fun. It's really not fun. Especially not when you're doing it in your front garden and a bug flies into your paint when you've just laid down pearl and clear and it gets in the wet pearl and clear. So you have to sand it back and you have to start the whole pearl and clear process again. In other words, bug, you're an arsehole. But yeah, that's the land I've been living in.
Yeah, the drama of doing bodywork at home outside.
Well, the workshop's full of a dusty MX-5 at the moment, so you know.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem is doing it at home. You get stuck. Well, even if you got lucky enough to have an indoor space, I could do my stuff in my garage, but it's still going to be full of dust and other stuff from being in there. But it is better than doing it outside.
That's why when I did my car, I took every single body panel off. The car lived outside for a week under a cover, under a tarp, and then I was hanging each body panel from the rafters and spraying it inside the garage.
Yeah, I think because I'm going to do the MX-5 as well. I think that's basically what I'm going to do. Take off whatever panel I can. Do them as I think I'm going to get some of those big plastic sheets. Sort of hang it up in the garage and then try and make like a clean space, as it were.
You want to be careful. You really want to be careful that none of your neighbours see that, Matt, because they might think you're about to offer Nicole.
Or you're about to cook some crystal meth.
I mean, I'm down.
The way the cost of living's going, I'm going to need it.
I mean,
if you've seen Breaking Bad, you'll get the reference.
Overdosing is one way out of debt, man. Yeah. It's not what I'd recommend, but yeah.
I'm just going to wrap myself in the plastic.
Whatever you and Nicole get up to is fine.
It's getting dark already.
Basically, make a clean room, take all the panels in, paint all the panels, and then do the body of the car in there as well the best I can.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that'll go, but because I'll probably go as far as taking all the doors and everything off, so I'll only really have like the rear quarters and the sills to do, so it shouldn't be too bad.
So I think there's a couple of things that I'd like to say if anyone sees the stage at a show. One is I painted it outside. Two is I've got ADHD, so I got bored at one point. So there was a point where I was just looking at the fiberglass repair I've done to the hole in the boot lid, and the filler, and I couldn't get the sand in, the palm sander in, and the detail sander wouldn't go in, and I wasn't grinding it back because that would have been a bad plan. I saw how deep that went into the paint when I was taking off the rust. So I sanded it as much as I could, and there are a couple of bits where the paint's not perfect as a result of it going that way. But the way you wouldn't really see it. So the whole process to fix that rust was kind of expose it all. So on the shorts on this channel, you can go and have a look. And in part one, all you see is me going with the tiny mini angle grinder that I've got, just to expose all the rust so I can see where it is, then clean that up. And then I use Q Rust to get any surface oxidation, which I think is a solid play. Then I used anti-rust primer. Then I used filler primer. Then I sanded that all back. anti-rust primer to make a nice smooth coating again. Then I used grey primer because I'm an idiot. And there's still some bits of grey primer in the boot inside the boot lid where you're not going to see it. But on the outside, I then remembered that you need to use white primer for white pearl. So I went and bought some white primer. I did that. There's a lot of spraying and sanding. And then, really importantly, I remembered to forget everything that my friends kept telling me about paint. Because the one thing you don't do before you put clear coat on pearl is flat it back. You need to leave it as is. Otherwise, you take all the pearl out of it.
Biggest thing with painting and bodywork in general, it's all in the prep work.
Yeah.
You can spend...
You spend way more time doing prep work and
yeah.
filling and flatting back and cleaning than you actually do painting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I spent maybe 2 full weekends doing the sanding and prep, and then everything was done in like a few hours paint wise.
That's the thing, you can spend 8 hours on one panel, sanding, priming, sanding, filling, whatever, and then you go, I've left my panel wipe in the car, it'll be alright, just wipe it down, and ruin all of that prep work by rushing and spraying quickly.
Yeah.
It's really important, and it makes me appreciate how much effort goes into painting a car. And
it's why having your car painted is so expensive, because they spend so much time doing. And if it's somebody who does it properly, then
they do it properly.
All the dents out and smooth it all back and line up all the panel gaps and all of that stuff. There's a lot of places, if you go for a cheap job, they'll just chuck paint straight on and not do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it makes you appreciate how good the pink paint looked on the car, considering how little prep it had.
Yeah.
So there's a skill in it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've done a few home paint jobs in my time. There was the rattle canned hijack, which was all right quality, but again, that was
graffiti paint though, wasn't it?
That was graffiti paint, but there was also 3 months of prep work in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't ever intended to be gloss, but it still looked good as a paint job. It was all the same shade and that sort of thing.
And we did the same process that I've just done on the stages bootleg, because the roof, you wouldn't believe how brown the roof was originally. And what happens there is, and this is an interesting thing for people actually, I think, the rust sometimes on the outside of your car is not that it's come in from a hole. Sometimes it is surface rust on an older car where the lacquer's faded and then the paint's slightly porous and the water's got into the paint and then you start getting rust on the surface. And that's what was going on the hijack.
Well, you can get that from a stone chip as well. Just one stone chip down to bare metal.
Yeah.
You don't see it. And then it rusts underneath and bubbles up and then all the paint comes off in one big chip.
Yeah, the next job at Bam's home painting shop is the bonnet on the spike, and there's just like a little rusty edge to the bonnet. That's all because of tiny stone chips, because it's got a really flat face. And then after that, I've got to do a few bits around things. But that whole sanding back process again, we did anti-rust primer, and that's the real key, is making sure you're using the right tools for the job, I think. Because a lot of people will go, I'll just spray over this oxidized metal and not treat it in any way. Even if
band-aiding,
where even if you can't see any more brown or any more black, there's still oxidation there. There's oxidation there that it starts oxidizing the second you expose that metal. So what you need to do is you do need to give it a coat of something like Q rust, just to treat all that oxidation. And you'd be amazed, like that turns black when it reacts with something, and you'd be amazed how black the surface actually goes, even when it looks like clean metal.
It's one of those things, like you can do this under the car as well, like when you're protecting all your sills and that. Say you go under the car and wax oil all your rusty sills.
Yeah.
It will stop it for a little bit, and then when it inevitably wears off, because it gets wet and it comes off, it will just carry on rusting.
Yeah.
So
it's protecting your seals, Matt.
Yeah.
No idea. You must be speaking a different language to me.
Stickers are protecting Matt's seals.
Thanks.
There's nothing wrong with my seals, thank you.
There is when me and Milton visit next time and jab them with a screwdriver.
Jabby.
That NC is fucking clean. Especially considering I paid 300 quid for it.
It's an MX-5 and me and Milton are going to make it join the Rusty Boy Club.
Good luck. There's no rust on it.
Just don't look underneath my car.
Yeah, Bryn made that mistake.
Yeah.
He's been what's he been welding for, like 6 months now?
Yeah.
Just sorting that. And I think he's doing the GS 300 now as well?
Yeah, he's doing bloody well, to be fair to him. So he's never done bodywork. But that's just how...
Yeah, bodywork is hard, whether it be paint or welding.
Why can't it be rubbish at something, eh? Damn you, Bryn.
He is rubbish at something. Being
He's
tall.
got patience, unlike
He is
us.
rubbish at being tall.
Yeah, damn it.
The thing is, Bryn's got patience, and we don't have... The three of us don't have that.
Combined, we probably have the patience of Bryn. Like, we could take it in turns.
I've done it before. When I put the Evo bonnet on my old Mark 1.
I remember. Blue, wasn't it?
It was for a little bit, because that was all the paint that my mate had. And we didn't want to leave it as bare filler and fiberglass. So I was like, we'll chuck some blue on it, and I painted it black in the end. But I didn't want to do the riveted on look. I wanted to smooth it in. So I was like, it's filler. It's not that difficult. And you filler it, and then you sand it back, and it's got all holes and pitting. It's like, right, next layer, sand it back, still full of holes.
That's why you get.
And by the time I got to the third layer and sanded it back, I was like, fuck it, I'm just painting it. I can't.
That's why you put primer filler on. It fills the holes.
Yeah,
high build primer.
And then after all that work, the fiberglass underneath where I put the layers over, I didn't do enough layers. So as soon as I lifted the bonnet and twisted, it snapped the primer anyway. The filler. So I was like, well, drift cart's fine.
Yeah, no. Interestingly, they appear to have changed the name of high build primer to filler primer, just so everybody's aware of that.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I have no idea why.
So I've got to have another go because I've got to do the vent on the MX-5. Basically, what I'm doing is using the MX-5 as a test platform for all the things I want to do to the FC, so that I don't balls the FC up. Because that needs painting, because that's pink.
So
what's wrong with pink? Oh no, it's red. No, pink.
It's faded red. That's the problem with pink. It's not pink.
That is, that's it's not that. Oh no, wait, it is. It is faded. Can you just do it neon pink?
I could. I'm not going to.
That's boring.
My car will go pink again.
Yeah, we need to bring your car back pink. My car needs to be blue, and then Matt's car needs to be pink, and then we can drive like a flying V formation with me at the front. Be great. It'll be all Violent Running branded. It'll be for one video that we put on somewhere as an advert ever.
And then Milton will crash his car, and it'll have a black bumper.
He'll crash it while we're filming the thing. Probably no, Milton.
Because I'll be ahead of you.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
So, since we're talking about bodywork, I guess the other side of this is wrapping your car.
Yes. So,
never tried it.
Also takes a lot of patience and is not easy.
No, it's not, and a lot of people think it is easy. The other side of that as well is a lot of people think it's cheaper than paint, and it's not.
Not anymore.
I
think for a little while it used to be.
To an extent, it is still.
But it always looked wrapped, and I think that was part of the reason it was cheaper. But now wrap has come so far, it does genuinely look like paint. But you're not far off just paying for paint.
Yeah, but the other side of that is you still have to do all the prep work you have to do in paint. The bodywork has to be perfectly smooth.
I was about to say that, yeah.
You know,
because if you've got dents and divots and you've got...
Yeah, you'll still see all of that.
What's the opposite of a dent?
A bump.
Yeah, if you've got dents and bumps, then like pits and stuff, they will show up. It'll be like a highlighter.
Yeah.
Well, the other side of this is people think, oh yeah, I'll just put it on for a little bit and then I'll peel it off. But if you've got shitty paint underneath with lacquer peel, when you peel it off, you will take all of that shitty paint off with it.
It's a great way to strip your car if you need to.
Yeah.
There's cheaper ways of stripping cars, but that's
there are. And the other side of it, actually, just from like everything that I've been thinking about while I've been working on the Stager and the Spike lately, is you actually have to replace it. So like we sell stickers, right? Now our stickers are printed with UV ink, and they'll last about 4 or 5 years before they start fading. However, depending on how you look after your car, what car chemicals you use, all that normal nonsense. But eventually they fade. The car vinyl we use for glitter, again, about the same shelf life. You are only going to realistically get 3 years out of a wrap on an entire car. Something somewhere will fail, and then you need to rewrap the whole thing. Paint will last you 10, 20 years.
It's done right, yeah.
I was going to say, the other side of this is as long as you've got thick enough layers of lacquer when it's initially painted, you can just take a layer of lacquer off and you're back to where you started, factory fresh.
Yep.
You can't do that with wrap.
You can't polish a wrap. It's very true.
You can, some of them, but...
Yeah, some of the, like I say, wrap technology has come a long way, and some of them you can actually polish.
But very limited.
They're only set thicknesses still. So there's only so far you can go before you get to the backing paper, and that just comes out white.
But the good thing about wrap is it's very easy, like especially vinyl wraps, is you can print a livery on it, and it's one piece, and it's bam, done. And it's like, once you put it on properly.
Unlike the livery that you've got fit, Milton. Is that what you're saying?
The thing is, though, that's a different ballgame when you start going into race cars and stuff like that, because race cars tend to not have a big shelf life. And if you're putting a livery on it, most race teams change that every year or so.
Yeah.
So that's the most cost-effective way. And they will use cheaper vinyl because it doesn't need to last. Because odds are, if you're in a race car, you're going to do 1 or 2 rounds and you get damage on it anyway.
Yes. Can't deny it.
But you've just got to look at touring cars. Any touring car series, you're going to get bumps on front and rear bumpers, regardless. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Plus all the other panels. So
wraps is an interesting one. I think there's an interesting element of this as well. I've not seen a plasti dipped car for quite a while.
That seemed to go away, didn't it?
Yeah. Just as it was starting to get interesting, and they were starting to have like pearl finishes and stuff like that. But me and Milton at Autosport International this year saw a company called Super Wrap.
They're gone. They're dead.
Oh, are they?
Okay.
Might need to cut this out. I looked because I found we've got the car seat.
Yeah.
I looked them up again because I wanted to do some spare wheels. Yeah. And their websites doesn't exist. You can't find them anywhere.
In that case,
That's a shame.
That is a shame. That was really interesting to see that coming back, because that was more of a vinyl-y finish when you'd put a few layers on than plastic dip used to be.
The problem was plastic dip always, to start with, early on, it came out very matte.
Yeah.
And you struggle. It wasn't like normal paint. You didn't put on thin layers and build it up. This, you laid it on thick, then had to take the masking off immediately. And that's something that was very, very hard because I did it around the chrome trims on the Mazda 6 I had.
Yeah.
And it's not that easy to work with, and it's still about. But it got to a point where I think time and money-wise, like for the materials and that, wrapping was cheaper. And I think wrapping just took off from there, I think.
Yeah.
But Plasti Dip has the same issue. The problem with Plasti Dip is it has both the drawbacks of both paint and wrapping, because you've still got to prep the surface, and if the surface underneath is not good, as you've seen with paint, and you lay it down, it will just come straight back up again. And
then also, it's worse than paint. It's worse than paint and vinyl, because when you pull off plastic, it sort of sometimes rips and it comes up in chunks. If it's paint, you can sand through or use removers.
And it's the same problem with like when you have to take your vinyl off. Plasti Dip doesn't come off in one big sheet as they advertise. If it's fresh, it probably does. But when it's been on there 2 or 3 years, the same as vinyl, it doesn't peel off all in one sheet. It comes off in tiny little chunks, and it takes forever to take off.
No, I had to take a 5-year-old sticker off the bootleg of the Stager before I was starting to work on it. 7-year-old sticker. Really early days of the brand. And I ended up having to use thinners to get it off. I literally had to melt the vinyl off.
I had the same with Nicole's Master 2. It had a stick-on bumper number plate, but it went around the corner, so it was very illegal. And I was like, yeah, we're going to take that off and put a proper number plate on the front. And it had clearly been on there a number of years, and I had to heat it up to try and peel the glue off, and then obviously use thinners to get the glue off. But because in trying to heat it up, I melted it.
Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it? Warming it up to attack the glue, and they become brittle as well.
Yeah, that's the main reason they're so difficult to take off, because they become brittle and they just come up in tiny pieces. It took me like 3 hours to peel just a number plate off. Can't imagine trying to unwrap an entire car.
I think it gets easier when you do the entire car, because you give less of a crap about how it comes out, because you know you've got to fix it all at the end anyway, don't you? So you can just.
The other thing with bodywork as well is you've got to worry about like panel gaps and things like that. Like, cause when I painted the car, like it all fitted, I marked up where it was, but then obviously you've added paints, and then the side skirts weren't fitting. So where the original holes were, so I had to it's all adjustments and stuff.
Yeah.
Continuity bomb. Yeah. So the bodywork thing is always an interesting point. For those of you who haven't realised, we've stopped paying Microsoft money, so we have to start the podcast in the middle, hence the weird re-intros to the podcast. We've noticed, with bodywork, I think it is interesting as you go through the stages. One thing that has always impressed me is DeLorean's polished steel. Right, as a bodywork
steel, isn't it?
I think it's brushed stainless steel.
It is brushed stainless. But they always look immaculate. I've never seen a dented or damaged DeLorean.
They dent so so when you dent your painted car, you most of the time you can get away with it. If it's a small like car park door ding or something like that hasn't taken any paint off, most of the time you're not going to notice it.
Yeah.
But on those, it's really, really noticeable if you start looking for them.
Oh, okay.
And you can't sand it back, filler it, and then paint over it. You have to properly, like on a bonnet, for example, hammer it from the other side and take the dent out. So
get a dolly and
like proper old school hand techniques, because you can't paint it. There's no paint to replace.
You can't hide.
You can't filler it. There's no hiding. So you have to hammer the dent out from the back, or pull it out, stuff like that, and then rebrush it.
I would love to build a drift DeLorean that looks like the Back to the Future time machine.
Someone's probably done it, because they are rear-wheel drive.
That's the day I learned to drive. Learn to drift even. Not learn to drive. I can drive, sort of. It's a bit dicey. Milton's been in the car with me.
First Google result, just DeLorean DMC-12 wide body V8 LS2 front engine.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
But
one thing I learned,
if it exists, it's been drifted.
Yeah.
Hang on,
Rule 62.
32, isn't it?
No, that's a different rule. That's definitely not safe.
It's
a naughty one.
You're thinking of Rule 34.
That's the one. Rule 34. Speaking
of Rule 34,
this month
you can get
Lewd Drop month. Go to the website. Go to the menu. NSFW. Thank me later.
That's how you do tangents.
That was a tangent and a half.
That's a segue.
That was a quality segue. That was a better quality segue than how Segway the scooter appeared in the 90s. Was it the 2000s? Was it even the 90s?
I don't know. Anyway, back on. One thing I like with bodywork and just repairs is it's not as scary as you think, and it's okay just to have a go. Because especially bodywork filler and fiberglass repairs, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because put it this way: if your only option at this moment in time is to pay somebody to paint and repair your car, have a go at it first, because all you're going to do, your first job is take all the paint off. So if you're going for a full respray, take all the paint off. That's easy. You can do that all day long.
Yeah.
And then if you make a mess of it, the body shop, you're still going to pay them the same amount of money
Well, you might end up paying them less.
Give or take, but you might give less.
What I would actually suggest is do the job, take the paint off, try it yourself. If it's crap, take the paint off again, and then go to the body shop.
Then send it. Yeah.
You just saved them 8 hours of the boring sanding bit. But
that's one of the things. Some body shops will give you a discount if you take most of the paint off first. Just ask them before you go. Because when we go with Nicole's car, for example, we need to change the roof to because we ended up buying a roll bar, so we need a plastic roof. It's got a glass one on at the moment. So there's no point in me buying the roof, fitting the roof, taking it for paint, and then them taking the roof off. So I'm gonna say something like, well, I'm taking this off anyway. Shall I just leave it off to make your life easier? And stuff like that. Like, I'm fitting the body kit. Do you want me to take panels off, or shall I put them back on properly?
No.
The thing is, I had to repair quite a few holes in the rear bumper and the side skirts, just where they scrape, because it's just the way a juice kit fits. Even if my wheels touch the arches, my side skirts hit the floor first. There was huge holes in it, but just watching some YouTube videos, masking tape on the outside, like a barrier. Then you just pull it in and just work the material in. It actually came out really good.
What I did with the Stager, actually, because it was really difficult to hold. It was like in the corner of the number plate recess. So what I actually ended up doing, I was going to put mesh on it, and I couldn't. So I used some fiberglass sheeting, put it on from the outside and from the inside, resined it all in place. It's only a few sheets thick to build a back-in layer. Painted that all from the inside because fiberglass is not waterproof, no matter what anyone tells you. And then did all the filler work from the opposite side, and it's come out fine.
Exactly the same as what I did on my bumpers.
I've seen people use pennies when they've done like when wiper deletes or taken badges off or stuff like that, and it's left a hole. Just a penny behind it, filler over the top, and that'll hold it in place. And then you can just sand over it, and if the penny falls out, it's not the end of the world. So the filler's already there. Speaking
of wiper deletes, massive shout out to Kill All Wipers for the speed at which they delivered the one for the Stager. That's in.
Removing rear wipers is now one of those things I've never thought of, because I've pretty much only owned convertibles, which don't have rear wipers.
The Stager its wiper just looks weird because it floats in the middle of the glass. I've not got a wiper on the spike, but that's for other idiot reasons.
Yeah, I kept the one I had on the Mazda 6, mainly because I was towing a lot and it helped to see the load behind me.
The other part of it is, as well, is I want to run on the back of the Stager the biggest ain't no such thing as halfway crux Ouija board that we've ever made. We're having to cut it even on the big prick cutter. We're cutting it in 3 separate pieces.
Oh, please put a hand on it, or like a thing that's got like a floating circle on it. So when you swipe, if it goes slowly, it won't be at the top, and it will be like letters.
I've got
removing it.
I've got an idea.
Okay.
That involves a bye-bye hand that potentially does similar to what you're thinking.
Great mind.
Yeah, or potentially the other option is we've got the EL Glow little Yuri hearts. So I have had a little bit of a conversation about how much it would cost me to have a giant EL Glow Ouija board made that fills the entire back window. It's not cheap. If anyone wants to buy one off us, you're talking about 250 to 300 quid.
I'm not surprised, because even the small ones, comparatively to other stickers, aren't cheap.
Yeah, 25 quid for our one, for example.
That's not making any money on that.
Cheaper than tuned in Tokyo though, and hard tuned. We don't rip you off. Might even have the same supplier, given what I was offered last week from the magical Chinese folk.
Anyway, tangents aside, how long? So here's a question: how long before we get stickers that you can wrap that are also light?
What? You could do that now. They're actually pretty flexible, the EL Glow stickers. You can put them on the curved window.
Getting a sheet of it that's big enough to wrap an entire car with.
Right, so.
Because I don't actually know.
The largest sheet I've seen that I can get is about that big at the moment. The problem is, actually, is the
I don't
back.
actually know how they work.
The back needs to be plastic. I'll show you next time you're up at mine, Matt. I'll show you how they work. Rather than you revealing it on the podcast.
Oh no, I wasn't going to.
They're
I just never thought about
effectively an electro-inducive panel. It's like an LED in many ways. It's a really cool thing. I think I don't think you'll ever be able to wrap a car properly with it because you've got like a membrane at the back that kind of holds the whole thing together. So you have like a plastic layer, the electronics, the glow layer. So it is like it's not thin like a vinyl sticker.
So you could do like backs of vans and flat boxy cars and stuff.
Yeah,
You could probably do side panels on vans. And...
you could probably
that'd be so cool.
You could probably do the spike. The other difficulty is going to be powering the damn thing.
Magic.
Yes, so I imagine it's probably going to draw. Well, LEDs don't draw a lot of power. This is one of the things I'm excited about for neons coming back. Is the fact that they're all fucking 3-volt LEDs, so you can leave them on at shows all day long, and they're not going to drain your battery.
Wait. There's a more important thing that I've seen making a comeback than neons lately, boys. And this is kind of bodywork related, and it's the most important comeback that I've ever seen. And I thought,
power?
No, spinners. Spinners are back.
No, I've not seen any.
I've not seen any of those yet.
They're on the tactics. They're there. The Americans are bringing it back, boys.
Also, there's a lot of aero fins. Like you've got your wheel, and then you've got like a plat.
Yeah,
which is actually quite cool.
They've always been around though. They never went away because they've actually had a function.
I'm not going to need to worry about cooling on my new wheels because there's 3 massive holes in them.
I'm thinking like, look at FD, Formula Drift, they've got the
RTR
cars.
Yeah.
Do you know why they're running them? Because Von Gittin Jr. thought they looked cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But that Chelsea's done 2 events now and he's had 2 different sets. So you can just change the look slightly by just printing a new fin.
You don't even need to print a new fin. You just change the sticker on the outside of it.
Yeah, new vinyl.
Or, yeah, you know what I mean. But
yeah. I mean, it's
one of those things that lets you have a bit of flexibility and change up the look of your car without doing a major piece of work. Same as when you just change the wheels.
Yeah.
But aero fins are easier to store.
Yeah, I am getting a bit worried about the stack of wheels that's growing at my workshop at the moment. It is a...
You're talking to 2 drifters who have stacks of wheels all the time.
I counted. I have 20 XXR wheels.
Okay,
I've got 10. I've got 10 RX-8 wheels at the moment.
I've got 5 full sets of 4x100, 1 full set of 4x110. And now 2 full sets of 5x114.
What fits a 4x110?
Maybe it was the
Hijet.
Hijet.
I thought they were 4x108.
Yeah, but with a wobble bolt, you can get a Ford wheel on them.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
The original orange wheels that were on the Hijet were them until I spent £300 on custom spacers.
Yeah, those orange wheels are what you bought from me.
Yeah, they're still in the workshop. Because nobody wants the Tango orange wheels.
Oh, speaking of wheels, I've got a set of 15-inch wheels that haven't got a bolt pattern drilled in.
What?
Available.
They've got no bolt pattern.
Nope. Yeah. They've just got the centre hub hole, but they've got plates and they're ready to go. They pass. So if any Citroen AX people that wants 3 by whatever them, let us know. Or any size, we'll get them drilled and sent.
What have you got there?
Magic, I'll talk to you after.
Okay. Sounds like I'm getting
trade secrets.
Which reminds me, Nankang NS2Rs going on the stage your wheels. Big up my friends for sorting quite a lot of stuff out over the last 2 weeks. And thanks to big thanks to Alex at Driftworks for helping me do wheel maths and sorting out my wheel spaces for me as well.
Yeah, offset on wheel. This might be a separate thing, but
it definitely
using willtheyfit.com is a brilliant site for working out. Because I just worked out I can fit a 225 45 15 wheel on my rear.
Well, I've just gone 18 by 9.5 again on the Stager. But they're ET.
Hang on.
They're ET35. So I am.
What are you currently?
ET10.
Oh, so you've just gained 20 mil against. So you can actually drive the car without it hitting suspension.
No. I have to push that wheel out to stop it. The new wheel's out to stop them hitting the suspension. I've got 30 mil spaces.
Yeah, it's a higher offset, so the wheels got closer to the body.
So I've just
way around, isn't it?
I've got 30.
The smaller the number, the further away from the car.
And the Stager effectively runs ET2 on the back at the moment. So I've got 33 mil of spaces for the back and 25 mil of spaces for the front to get it to the right fitment. But it's going to look absolutely awesome. And they're decent quality spaces. And bolt-ons. Don't use slip-ons at those kind of offs.
No, not 30 mil.
5 mil, maybe 10 mils if you've got the studs big enough, but that's it.
It depends how long your studs are.
Yeah.
Never just do that on it. Don't use long studs and a 30 mil slip-on.
I always heard, like, I think it was 7 or 8 was about your limit with not changing the studs, but that's on an MX-5.
8 is like the comfortable level I don't go beyond for any car.
I've only ever run 5 for slip-ons.
But
anything bigger than that, I've had bolt-ons. But then I've only ran 25, 30, 35, I think. So.
I've got a doubled up 5 and a 3 on the back of the Stager at the moment to give me that 8 to get it down to ET2. But wheel mats, we'll do wheel mats, and we'll try and get a wheel mats guy on. It's not one of us. I'll have a chat with some people. We will be being joined at some point in the future on the podcast by one of the guys from Tag. Who's offered to come on, follow my rehangings out with them all again. Now I'm back working on cars and building stupid stuff, having fun, being happy. So yeah, I think
should get some more show videos coming through now that we're going to start hitting shows as well.
Well, I'm doing show videos in an interesting way. I'm actually breaking them down into shorts at the moment. It gives me time to enjoy the show, hang out with people, get to know people a little bit.
Well, wait, I was going to make a suggestion, but we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. So one of the things you'll notice at shows is I do take the camera kit, and it depends on the weather. It depends on my mood on the day. We've talked about. I've been pretty open about my mental health over the last year on the podcast, and it is one of the things was I just felt under constant pressure to film, so I have taken a little bit of a step back to do a bit more casual filming at events, because fundamentally I need to spend time with these guys and see my friends. And
rather than looking through a lens.
Yeah,
it's one of those things, and I say this about people who put games on YouTube all the time. Is if you're not enjoying it, what's the point?
It's not that I wasn't enjoying it.
That's why we do the podcast.
Yeah, it's not that I wasn't enjoying it. I enjoy it. The difficulty is I come back and then I've got to get the video edited before Adam C gets his video out, because the second my video's out after Adam C, there's no point in me editing the video because all the traction for the event's taken on YouTube. And it's a really difficult one. So actually the shorts, what I can do is edit them throughout the day when I'm at the show and get up part 1 in the middle of the day when I'm there. And that's the tactic that I've been going for. It's I think also when it's raining it's easier to film on my phone than get the expensive camera kit out.
Yeah.
My plan is to get a Insta360X and tie it to myself somehow. Maybe you'll have a whole video that is just penis height Insta360 video.
No, just get one that flicks to your hat.
You can do that with an Insta360, but then one side is always going to be whatever logo's on my cap.
On the top, big area on the top.
What, like one of those kids with a propeller?
Yeah.
That could be the vibe you got. Yeah. So
Bam, can I do a plug?
For what?
Formula G.
Yeah, go do Formula G.
It's next weekend, rounds 1 and 2 of Santa Pod Raceway. Tickets available.
What's that clanging?
Human.
Ah, okay. So yeah,
Was it 3rd and 4th of June specifically?
Yeah, 3rd and 4th of June. So depending when I edit this, you might have missed it.
doesn't matter. Then come to round
Yeah, come
3
to the
and
next
4,
round.
Yeah,
which
go.
is at Donington. We've got MSV on board this year.
Ooh, we're
We're actually
going.
going to
We're going
big
to the Tarmac
tracks.
Lake.
Yeah, so we've actually got some
We're
support.
going
And
to Donington this year.
Donington is round 3 and 4 overnight. You will go race during the Saturday,
Yeah.
camping overnight at the track. We'll have a laugh, barbecue or whatever, then race again on Sunday.
So, Formula G, go do Formula G. Formula G is cool, right? For any of you that go, oh, my car's fast, you don't know how fast your car is till you've done Formula G. And that's the truth, because in a straight line, anything can be quick. And going sideways around a drifter track, anyone can be good at sideways. But Formula G, that's going to test your ability to actually drive. So go compete. Go see if you can beat Mantas, you massive bunch of Jessies.
And you get a lot of seat time. You can go to a drift day or a drift competition, and you get 6 runs, 5 runs. If you don't have any problems, yeah. But if you have some problems, you might get your qualifying runs, and that's it. And then you're out for the day.
Yep.
A lot cheaper as well. So
Yeah, it is good value for money, especially if you want to get into a competition environment.
Yeah, I might compete at Donington actually if the stage is ready to go. How many
I wanna
how
do it
many
at some
cars
point
in
with the
4-wheel drive
MX-5.
the class this year? I'm good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just so I
So
can
I
win more trophies.
I want to do it
than
with the
Milton.
MX-5, but I still got to do running miles and stuff, so I may not make it this year, but we'll see how that goes.
you should have 2,000 miles by.
When's the
Okay.
last round?
Can't remember when the next one is.
We'll see.
We'll get John on to talk about Formula G again, and we'll get John to talk about it. But yeah, no. So I think I just want to say thanks to everybody for watching this week. We've waffled on a bit. We've talked some crap. We've had a bit of an end of the podcast. It was a bit heartfelt from me. So thanks to everyone that has supported the brand through my downtime. Thanks to everybody that's been supporting the brand since we came back. That's been great to see. Really appreciate those orders. Thanks to everyone who's liked, shared any of our stuff. And most importantly, thanks to Matt, Milton, Bryn, Hurdy, Connor, Tish.
Laura.
Yeah, Laura knows. I'm talking about the guys that help keep it going. Laura, definitely Laura.
Simon.
Nicole.
Simon.
Yeah, Simon.
Simon,
Yeah.
he's a nice guy, Simon.
Yeah. No other Simon, no one.
Oh, I was talking about your alter ego, the one that does all the
He's
good.
Bam.
Yeah, no,
Bam. We don't
he's
know
two.
him
He's
as
two
a gentleman.
people.
I'm 3 people. I'm
Depends on-
big enough. I'm big enough to be 3 people.
Depends on what
Anyway,
meds you're on. You might be 3 or 4.
I'm on no
Yeah,
meds. I'm on no meds. You've got an unmedicated free-range BAM running around shows again, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Free range, bam.